Welcome to Astrobabble, where we babble about astrology. I am Donna from Donna B Astrology.
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
Today we are going to be talking about the new moon in Aries.
So I'm going to share screen and we'll have a look at it.
Along with the moon mansion. The moon mansion is at 0 degrees, 50 minutes of Aries. And that is going to be good for journeying. It's going to be good for taking medicine or starting a routine that's good for your health. It is not good for marriage. It is not good for unions. It has the planetary energy of Mars and Saturn. So you want to check you're not thinking before you do something. You want to make sure that you're making sure you've given it some thought.
Well, this is a new moon chart. So we have Mercury quite close to this new moon at 5 degrees of Aries. We have the ruler of the new moon at 28 degrees of Gemini. It will have passed its retrograde shadow period, so at least it's going direct, and later on it's going to actually move out of Gemini into Cancer, so that's something. It can see the new moon, so it can help it. That's good. We have Jupiter also in Aries with the new moon. Saturn in Pisces, which is the sign before Aries, so we say that's an inversion, so that's good. It can't hurt it. But we also have Venus, Uranus, both in Taurus, so they're also an inversion to this new moon.
So the only thing that can see it is Pluto and Mars?
Yeah, looks like it, yeah. And shall we have a look at the horoscopes for this new moon?
That sounds great.
New moons are all about new beginnings, planting seeds, and quite often 6 months later, when you have the full moon in this case, Aries, you might have the harvest. So yeah, new beginnings, new starts, kind of an exciting time. And I mean, with Aries, we've got the start of the astrological year, and yeah, Aries is all about when the sun or the light overcomes the dark. So yeah, this is pretty exciting time.
Very, very exciting. And it's a great time to start everything. It's Aries, it's the cardinal sign, it's the beginning of the zodiac. So yeah, a good time to start things. All right, starting off in Aries. If Aries is your rising sign, we go with the rising sign. It is more descriptive of you. If you don't know your rising sign, you can look at the moon sign and the sun sign, but really it is the rising sign that we're looking at. And this has got a lot of planets in your first house. So this lunation is going to be in your first house. So this is going to be definitely about new beginnings for the Aries risings. With you might want to change your hairstyle. This would be also a good time to a wardrobe. If you have something that you're personally working on yourself, this would be a good time to start it. If you wanted to like start a book, or just something that you're doing personally for yourself, is a good time to start this, because with the new moon is, like Lynda said, new beginnings.
Yeah.
And this will be in the house of yourself. So.
And if you are a Pisces ascendant, this new moon will be happening in your second house. The second house is finances, our personal finances, income, and resources. So this could be new beginnings. Maybe there's a bonus, maybe there's a new stream of income, maybe there's an increase in your income, or maybe you acquire a resource, something that's helpful to you, or yeah, just something to do with finances. Maybe you're starting a new budget. Maybe you are investing in somewhere new, something similar, but to do with your personal finances and resources.
Very nice. And if you are an Aquarius rising, this is going to be happening in your third house of community. It's also the way you communicate, but it's your it's where you travel day to day, and things could be changing. This could also have something to do a new beginning with either siblings or extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, that type of thing. So there's communication to be had with that Mercury right there with it.
Yeah, yeah. And if you are a Capricorn ascendant, this new moon is happening in your fourth house. The fourth house relates to our parents, our heritage, our homeland. It's also our home and living conditions and real estate matters. So it might be something to do with one of those matters. It could be that it's not showing up for you personally. Maybe your parents are embarking on something new, a new venture or something similar. Or it could be you're moving into a new place. Maybe, it's just signed a lease on somewhere. Or, yeah, something to do with those matters. It could be new events happening in the home. Maybe, I wouldn't say renovating or anything. I'd expect Mars to be in there. Mind you, it is squaring, so or just about to square. But
There's the drive.
yeah. Yeah, just new things happening around the house, around the home, living conditions or parents.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And if you are a Sagittarius rising, this is going to be happening in your fifth house. And the fifth house is known for your creativity. It's also the house of your children as well. So it's whatever you create. And these new beginnings could be, I'm seeing this square to Mars, and it's really sticking out to me right now. So it could be a lot of drive. It might just have a lot of action around your children or the things that you create. Or with Pluto there, maybe things are being dealt with differently, changing changing how it normally operates, or digging deep into it.
That sextile to Pluto in the second, yeah. Yeah. And if you are a Scorpio ascendant, this new moon is happening in your sixth house. The sixth house is the house of illness, it's service to others, it's employees, can also be co-workers and pets. So this could be something as simple as getting a new pet, or maybe you've taken on an extra responsibility, whether that's paid or not, perhaps looking after somebody else, or in some way being of service to somebody. Could be somebody such as a doctor, nurse, fire person, police person, entering an academy or something, because those are professions that are associated with this house. It could also have something to do with illness. Some people say, health and fitness in here. We do have Jupiter, which is helpful. We also have Chiron low, which is the wounded healer. So yeah, new beginnings. I would like to see more, how would you put it? It could be a start of treatment for an illness. It could be, yeah, a new pet, something similar.
Very nice. And if you're a Libra rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your house of the other and the committed relationships that you have in your life. So you could have a new start to any of those involving those people. So people that you have a commitment or a one-on-one relationship with. So yeah, it's going to be a new start to anything with, I mean, whether it's your significant other, or, an appointment that you have finally managed to get with somebody like a lawyer or a business partner or anything like that. So very interesting. Meeting new people, and Mercury's right there to get that conversation going. So
yeah.
nice.
And if you are a Virgo ascendant, this new moon is happening in your eighth house. The eighth house is other people's money. It's also to do with matters such as mortality. So this could have something to do with new beginnings, new starts, with matters to do such as inheritances, loans, debts, insurance, taxes, joint finances. Maybe you're merging with somebody else, whether that's a business partner or romantic partner. Maybe you've applied for a loan. Maybe some taxation matter comes up at this time. Maybe you're changing from, I don't know, a sole proprietor to a company or something similar. For whatever reason, it involves other people's money. It's not your personal finances and resources, which would be second house. This is shared finances and resources, or other people's money.
This is very straightforward with all of these, because they don't aspect the other planets other than Mars and Pluto. So
Mhm.
if you are a Leo rising, this is going to be happening in your ninth house. And the ninth house has got to do with publishing, esoteric subjects, as well as legal matters and higher education. So you might be starting something new around those themes. Yeah, so if changing it up for sure seems with if you're a Leo rising, that's with the new moon there.
And if you are a Cancer ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. The 10th house is to do with career and public reputation. It's kind of what we're known for. Very visible house. So new beginnings. Maybe you're starting a new project at work. Maybe you are starting a new job, new position at work, or it could be a new boss, because 10th house is often associated with authority figures as well. That's square to Mars. It won't actually be a square until later when Mars moves into Cancer and that, but it's within 2 degrees there. It might imply that perhaps you yourself could be perhaps a little bit hasty, and that may not do well with regard to new projects at work. Maybe you're very eager to get into it. Maybe you are a little bit, yeah. Mars has been retrograde for a long time, and then it was within its shadow period. It's only just come out, so it's understandable. Everybody's raring to go. Just maybe for some Cancer ascendants, it might be a little bit too much. So maybe try and tone down that haste.
Very good point. Very good point, Lynda. The applying aspects seem to be much, much stronger than aspects that have just passed. So, oh,
Yeah.
good call on that. Because if you're a Cancer rising, that's going to definitely affect you.
Yeah. And I mean that Mars is in their 12th house until it actually moves into the first. But 12th house is their undoing, and yeah, Mars is hasty, aggressive. Yeah, all those things might be just something to watch
Action
out
without
for.
thinking. Absolutely. And if you are a Gemini rising, this new moon is going to happen in your 11th house. And that 11th house is the house of those people who support you or things that support you. So you might meet a new friend who might be able to support you in your path, or you might join a group where that group will help you. So this is also hopes and dreams. So new beginnings of hopes and dreams is if you're a Gemini rising, this could be right around the corner.
And if you are a Taurus ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is associated with our undoing, but it's also places of rest and retreat. It's places of confinement, such as hospitals, prisons, but also places like monasteries. It could be a retreat. It can be a challenging house. It's one of the challenging houses, but this is also a time where the sun is in your 12th house, which tends to be associated with lower or depleted energy. This is a great time to actually kind of take care of yourself, make sure you're getting enough rest, make sure that you are ready for, when the sun moves into Taurus, which will, be in your first house, and kind of really rev up that energy. But yeah, matters, new things to consider, new beginnings, new starts to do with self-defeating habits, perhaps. Or what do you always have a nice one for this, Donna, I like.
Gosh.
Your word is very Neptunian. Self-defeating
Escapism.
habits, escapism, that's it. Yeah, escapism, self-defeating habits, our undoing. That's the traditional wording for it. Yeah, so that can include things like addictions, yeah, escapism, yeah, just things that aren't benefiting you really. So you might be deciding to tackle one of those habits and try and overcome it at that time, which would be great.
Yes. You need that time to, take a break from one thing before you can move on to another, or, get rid of some stuff that's no longer serving you before you can start new things. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's what us Taurus people are doing, is is getting out the old to bring in the new.
That would be nice. And Donna, do you have a crystal for us?
I absolutely do. This is called Red Quartz, and it's a quartz, but it's got like red throughout it, and that's iron.
Oh,
Here's another piece, and you can really see it behind white paper. You can see it's got just a tinge of red to it, but it is quartz. I don't think I've talked about quartz before, but it's got a little bit of red to it, even without the red sticker. Yeah, and this is the reason I picked this one is because number one, quartz is really our number one stone. It is the most plentiful on our planet, so of Earth. So you can find quartz on any continent. I think I'm not sure if it's not if it's not on. I would think it would be on Antarctica as well. Because it's basically quartz is sand. I mean, sand is that it makes up quartz makes up sand, so it's got little pieces of it. It's just a very common material that our planet has, and usually the quartz have these facets, and I haven't talked about quartz, but this is, if you can see it, it's like a hexagonal type shape. So it's got 6 sides, and that's how you know you've got quartz, is when it's got 6 facets around the top. Those are all the different facets, and that is a key signature for quartz. And being red with the Aries, it's quartz that is good for grounding. Any of the reds, a lot of the red stones have that quality, or good for the root chakra. So that's where I use it, and that's how I use it.
I believe iron is one of Mars's kind of qualities. It's associated.
Iron is one of Mars's elements.
And this is Aries new moon, so we're talking about a Mars ruled sign. Very nice. Oh, I was just thinking, you were saying about sand having all the quartz in it. That's why so many people find it so good to go to the beach. They're actually mixing up with the quartz.
They kind of are. They kind of are.
Nice.
And it's a very strong, it's a very hard material. It's got a Mohs hardness of 7. So
okay.
And you can see the
hexagonal. How high does the Mohs hardness go up to again?
10. A diamond would be 10. And a diamond is considered the hardest, one of the hardest substances. I think corundum is also 10. There's a few others that are 10, but
nice. Very nice. And you'll be writing an article for us?
I will be right after I get done with the vanadite one. So I've done that one.
Yeah. Well, we've got a little bit of time before this one shows up, so that one will be up by then. Yes. It got very busy.
Your lips to. Yes. I did have the baby shower, so that's where my time was.
No, more than understandable.
Yeah.
Well, shall we have a look at the transits ahead? Not as many as last podcast, thankfully.
No. So it'll seem a little bit calmer. Really. I have to say not really, because there has been some big shifts coming, here. This last one, Saturn moved, and that was a bit of a shift. And now we have Pluto, which is going to be shifting, as well as there's planets that have been in one sign for a very long time, and those are 2 of them are shifting this fortnight. So it very well might feel very shaken.
Yeah, Donna is very fond of telling people to journal when a planet moves into a new sign. And yeah, we've had some big ones move into new signs or about to move into new signs. We had Saturn move into Pisces. When was that? That was
This is last Saturday.
7th of March. Yep. We've got Pluto moving into Aquarius on the 23rd of March. We're going to finally get Mars out of Gemini after about 7 months. So that will be like a big relief. It's going to go into Cancer, which it's not strong in, but at least it will have moved. Anyway,
At least it'll get out of Gemini.
let's have a look at the first
It's been there for an unreasonably long time.
It has. So the first aspect we have is Pluto entering Aquarius. So yes, big day. It's been in Capricorn since, looks like around about January 08 I've got written down here. So
Been a while. It's
about 15 years. It seems like it should have been longer.
wow.
But Pluto can be in a sign anything from, I think, about 14 to up to 30 years in some signs, because some signs it moves slower in. It won't leave Capricorn until the 19th of November 2024. It's going to dip back into Capricorn in June this year, 11th of June, go back into Aquarius on the 20th of January 2024, dip back into Capricorn on the 1st of September 2024, and then finally leave Capricorn on 19th of November 2024.
So how long will Pluto be in Aquarius, do you think?
I think it's about 20 something years, about 21 years or so.
Yeah,
He's
so
in
it's a very
here
long
for
time.
quite a
So
while. Yeah, yeah.
so whatever you experience on the 23rd very well could be a clue to a good next 20 years.
Pluto is very intense. It's about being honest and getting very in depth. It can be transformative. Depending on what planets you have in Aquarius, we've all got Pluto somewhere in our chart, and it moves very slowly. It takes, what, 240 something years, 248 years to go all the way around the zodiac. So most of us, we're not even going to get it to go halfway more than an opposition, like who lives to be 124? I don't think anybody has yet. But, sometimes Pluto will be making aspects to your natal planets. That's probably when you're going to feel the power of Pluto, and the house that it's transiting at that time, which in this case will be Aquarius, will give you some clues.
Very interesting, very transformative. Pluto likes to dig deep, and Pluto likes to figure out what is making everything work, and then we'll get rid of what isn't working. I think that's the nature of Pluto. So get ready to take a deep dive onto this house that Pluto is going to be entering, because you're going to feel like you are dissected and then reconstructed and put back together, because that's what Pluto's for. So if something's not working in your life, if this is the area that it's not, you very well could get a transformation of, what's not working, get it out, and what is, get it working and get it together.
Yeah. People with planets at the very early degrees, like 0, 1, 2 degrees of Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, are probably going to feel this more intensely than the general public. Yeah, that's just the way it is, because it's going to be making those aspects, and the challenging ones, the oppositions, the squares, or the conjunctions. Donna's laughing. What have you got there?
Oh, I have a lot of my planets on those angles, the fixed angles. So I'm pretty fixed person. So this is going to affect me, I would think, reasonably a lot.
Yeah. I got Mars at 0 degrees Scorpio, so
Well,
yeah, it's going to be fun.
we're all bracing.
Yeah. So yeah, Pluto can, seem really quite transformative, which sounds quite good. I always think of Phoenix from the flames, but you kind of got to burn first, tearing down to rebuild better. But yeah, you got to go through that tearing down process. So yeah, it's just moving through a different area of your chart. But as I said, particularly if you're a Capricorn ascendant, it's coming back. Wherever Capricorn is in your chart, it's coming back to finish up what it started, particularly if you got late degrees of Capricorn planets there. It will be back for June to next January, and then next September, like September 2024 to November 2024.
Yeah, I think I had a teacher who said, Pluto doesn't kill you, it makes you suffer.
Not stronger, just suffer. I like that. Oh my. Which sounds horrific, but I mean, when you think about it, Pluto's been through other signs before. It's not like it's just turned up. It's been working through all these other signs in your chart. So, it's mainly when Pluto makes aspects to your planets that you really, really feel it. And particularly if it retrogrades over those planets, and it kind of does because it moves so slowly because it's so far out.
Very interesting for sure of an aspect. So make sure you journal. That would be my advice. Okay, so the next aspect is we can all celebrate, and me particularly, because this is getting out of my second house, but Mars is going to be moving from Gemini into Cancer. So it's going from a mutable into a cardinal sign, where I think it might like it a little bit better, not as much, because Cancer wants you to be all emotional in your feels, and Mars is just like, let's get it done. We don't need to worry about how we feel and all that. So it's not really an emotional planet, and it's in an emotional sign. So
yeah,
that could be a little challenging. But again, this is moving into a new sign. So be sure to journal, because this is going to be happening on the 25th of March. So 2 days after you've gotten accustomed to Pluto being into a new sign, Mars is going to be changing from Gemini into Cancer. And, that's not really its nicest place, but Mars has been in Gemini for 7 months, and it's good that it's getting out. It usually is only in a sign for 6 weeks. So it was in Gemini for an unusually long amount of time, and it'll be good to get it into a new sign.
Yeah, it certainly will. As Donna said, Mars isn't comfortable in Cancer. It's a sign of its fall. It's, just not good here. Well, shouldn't say it's not good, but yeah, it can't work as effectively as it wants. It is emotionally driven. It does have that impulsiveness with Cancer being a cardinal sign, but it's very emotionally driven. Wherever Cancer is in your natal chart, you may have issues to do with anger, aggression, but Mars is just energy. So if you can try and harness that energy into productive uses to do with the topics or people associated with that house, that's going to work a lot better for you than, arguments and or accidents, because, Mars can be haste, can be speed, it can be libido. So yeah, try and use this Mars productively wherever it's going to be in your house. Let me see when it gets out of that, on the 20th of May. So we'll have it for, that's quite a while, March, April, May. So almost 2 months, still not quite up to, it's not at 100% yet. It's traveling at about 92% of its usual speed at this time. It's taking a long time to get back to normal. So yeah.
I see that it's out of its declination too. It's out of orbit. Maybe that might be contributing to why it's taking a little bit longer. You said 7 weeks that it's going to be in to May 20th in Cancer. So
I've got written down here 25th of March to 20th of May. So that's just under 2 months. So
not exactly a rip-roaring Mars, but it's getting there.
Yeah, still out of bounds too at this time. I'm not sure when it actually, I'm curious. Let's see when it does. If it gets out of Huh, no. Oh, okay. Looks like maybe
The 25th.
May, when it moves into Leo, maybe.
Leo.
He's going to be out of bounds until looks like the 2nd of June. Well,
Interesting.
hmm.
And then, so the next aspect that we are going to be encountering is going to be Mercury conjunct Jupiter.
Yeah.
And that is screaming big talk. That is, it's are good conversations, or conversations that are encompassing large groups of people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is concerning that Chiron is so close to that.
Mm.
Hopefully that isn't part of the theme. But it's a good aspect. If you have a big conversation, if you are scheduled to do a big speech, I bet you it's going to happen on March 28th, because
Mm.
astrology just works that way. But it's to me, it's amazing that astrology actually does work. You'll find that, you know, you'll hear about this big speech, and all of a sudden you'll realize, oh, that's on like when Mercury and Jupiter are conjuncting, so, or are conjunct, which is more.
Yeah. Big ideas, grand thinking on a big scale. They're both under the beams of the sun at this time. So, yeah, big ideas, enthusiastic. Maybe, Mac needs some refining because, yeah, these are two planets that are kind of opposites. Mercury wants to drill down to the details. Jupiter's all about big picture details. Yeah, they're in enthusiastic Aries. We've just had the Aries moon. Sun's in Aries. Any problems here? It's not really making any bad aspects. But yeah, really easy to get riled up and excited, which is good. That Jupiter brings that enthusiasm. Aries is quite enthusiastic itself. But yeah, may need some refining a little bit later. Maybe after it gets beyond the beams of the sun, both of them, they may do better.
Yes, good mercurial things to do. And so the next aspect is going to be Mars trining Saturn.
Yeah, I like this. Mars is not in a very strong position. Saturn is not that bad, but he's not that good either. He's, left his signs that he rules. So he's not in a sign of his dignity anymore, or his domicile. Yeah, Saturn can give that Mars some discipline, a steady hand. Saturn is also earlier in zodiacal order, so he has the superior position here. Yeah, this is good. This is, you've got this energy. You've finally got it out of Gemini. It's out from under the shadow period. It wants to move forward. It's very emotional. It's not in the best sign, but Saturn's here to at least lend some assistance. So I think this is positive.
Yeah, we have Saturn emotional and Mars emotional, and these are the two planets aspecting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good day for creativity. This would give you good drive, and the Saturn would give you the good foundation and boundaries to stay within.
Well, I think this
As
is,
much as Saturn can do in Pisces.
well, it's interesting that we will have had that the big ideas with Mercury, Jupiter a couple of days beforehand. And now here's Mars wanting to do something and Saturn along to actually help with that, to give it that direction and kind of make it accountable. So,
Right, the constructive guidance.
mm.
Yeah, you can almost see things manifest like Definitely in the stars. You just got to wonder how everybody else is going to play those out because, it's gonna, I might be, trying to rebuild my kitchen where somebody else is, putting up a city and somebody else is building a car. So, all this energy to help get something accomplished is there.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Venus conjunct Uranus. Very interesting. Venus is in her own sign, so she's domiciled. She's strong here. Yeah. Unusual taste, unusual affections. Maybe when it comes to relationships or beauty or art, just something a little bit different, shaking things up. You may be attracted to somebody who's not your usual type, but if that concerns you and you're worried about, maybe your partner might be looking at somebody else, be proactive about it, do something different, spice it up a little bit. Or, and that can be something as simple as doing something you've never done before, whether that's, I don't know, a sport or an activity, whatever. Yeah. But this could be also art, avant-garde art and all sorts of things.
Definitely changing. It's the energy of trying new things. So if you have always gone for movies, go for a walk on a date. Just change it up because that's what Uranus wants. Uranus is trying to get you to look at doing something in a different way. It might still be a date, but instead of, a quiet night at home, it might be going out dancing, if you haven't ever gone out dancing. So yeah, it's that spontaneity of being shocking, something that would be out of the ordinary. So, and around Venus, that's love and art. So around those topics could definitely give you a new perspective. That's what it's for.
I like the idea of dancing. Actually, I like the idea of a dance class with that Mars Saturn at the same time.
Oh yeah,
You've got the
for sure.
energy of the Mars and you've got the Saturn, which is actually being instructed and, following steps and a routine. Yeah, nice.
I like the aspect. It should be interesting. And if that it's coming, you can almost kind of plan for it.
Oh, yeah. And then we must have a couple of days break, about 4 days, and then we have Mercury entering Taurus. Yeah,
This will be very good for for journaling because anytime a planet moves into a new sign, you want to journal because it can be if this is in your 10th house, it could be you might get a letter of a promotion, or you could get some news of something in if it's the 10th house. If it's the fourth house, you might the contractor might say we can finish your kitchen. If it's the second house, you might get a letter from a bank or something like that. But Mercury is part of communication. Taurus is something that's tangible, so that's why I'm going with letters and things like that. So it's going to be in the same sign as Venus and Uranus. So, and with the North nodes, that should be it could offer very nice aspects because Venus is a benefic. You definitely want to be with a benefic if you can.
Yeah, Uranus kind of not always sort of beneficial, but yeah, can bring freedom and shake things up. North node increase. So there may be not just usually when Mercury enters a new house, I expect to see more communications, thinking or learning to do with the subjects or people associated with that house. But with the North Node in Taurus, I would expect, particularly when it gets closer to the North Node at 4 degrees, that tempo is really going to spike. Mercury moves pretty quick. It's moving at 169% of its speed at this time, or its usual speed. This is a big change. Mercury's been in Aries, where it's quite bold and brash and maybe quick thinking, but maybe kind of sometimes speaks before it really thinks. Now it's in Venus ruled Taurus, where it's slower, more harmonious, generally speaking. And yeah, it's a nice shift.
Hopefully nothing to worry about.
Mm.
And then later on that same day, Mercury is going to square Pluto. And that is, Pluto's that, wants to do the deep dive. Mercury wants to have that process going. Mercury likes to have things orderly, and things will turn out this way because that happened. It's very much a part of and likes the process of how things are done. And with Pluto is just in there to needle out and figure out how everything's working, what's not working, and this could be very transformative with Mercury trying to figure out what Pluto is trying to get everybody to think about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, intense or transformative thinking, conversations of depth, honesty, deep and meaningful conversations. Mercury is moving pretty quickly, as we said, 168% of its usual speed at this time. So this aspect's going to happen quickly. But yeah, it is a square. So there may be some unpleasant conversations for some people or self-realizations. But yeah, it's going to move quickly. So just keep moving.
That's the idea. And then we have a couple of days break before Mercury will sextile Saturn.
Yeah.
And this is more a somber thinking. This is, trying to do the right thing. It could be isolating as well.
That's a point. Yeah. Conservative thinking too, perhaps. Taurus can be quite a conservative sign. Saturn's quite conservative. Yeah. I don't see this necessarily as negative. It could be somber thinking. I kind of think practical thinking, structured in some way. Mercury in Taurus, it does want that harmony and, grace and for everything to be nice. That Saturn may kind of help instill boundaries, so, you're not taken advantage of at this time, perhaps. But yeah, usually structured. Yeah, it's a sextile, hopefully not too negative. If this was a square, I would say this is, almost depressing, but it's a sextile. They're blending well. I think this, and I'm not a fan of Saturn in general, but I see Saturn with Mercury and I just think, oh, good, some stability. Here's kind of, we had that big excitement of the Mercury Jupiter earlier, which was big excitement, big ideas, all in Aries, who's always wanting to rush forward, yada, yada, yada. Here, maybe might be a good time to actually take those ideas and kind of think, well, okay, what's practical? What can we do with them? So
I like that. Just now that we've had the big ideas, what do we need to follow in order to get this actually accomplished? Because Mercury does want to get something accomplished in Taurus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. Okay, now we have to follow the rules. We had the good ideas, but now let's bring this more back to reality.
Yeah, what's actually possible. And that was the last one. Then we have the full moon in Libra on the 6th of April. I can't believe how fast this year is going.
It has been going remarkably fast.
So, full moon in Libra on the 6th, 16 degrees, 7 minutes. Where's Venus? Venus can't see it and help it. It's a shame. Yeah. Opposition from Jupiter. Interesting.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
Definitely some expansive themes around this full moon. So, what did they say? Check back 6 months ago what you were doing for the Libra new moon. When you
Yeah.
think about what you were doing then, you'll get a clue of what you were doing or what you're going to do for this full moon
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you go to the Libra new moon.
Yes.
So, Lynda, what have you been doing and where can people get a hold of you?
I offer natal astrology. I offer relationship astrology and year ahead astrology. I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. I'm on Facebook and I just got back onto Twitter. We'll see how that goes. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's a lot of stuff over on Pinterest too. And Donna, what about you? Where can people find you and what are you offering?
You can find me at Donna B Astrology, written below here. And I do natal readings, year ahead readings, as well as electional horary, and I work with crystals to do energy chakra, energy healing.
Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope the new moon is good for you. We'd love to hear how it's going for you. We love our comments that we're starting to get on the YouTube videos, and yeah, comment, like, share. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.